Parents have a lot to think about when it comes to caring for their infants, but one of the most important is making sure baby has a safe place to sleep. Dr. Nicole Bauman Blackmore from Meriter is here to explain how to do that. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So what are some of the main things that you want to know when you're bringing home your new baby? You know, sleep is obviously really important.
Right. So the biggest thing is the safest way for a baby to sleep is on their back in their own space. So not on their side or tummy, but on their back only. The other important thing is the recommendation is really for parents to have a proximate but separate sleep environment with their baby. So having the baby in a crib or bassinet in the room with them is the recommendation, but to have the baby in that crib or bassinet, not in the bed with the parents.
Because it can happen where somebody could roll over possibly on the baby. I mean, there has been very unfortunate deaths in some of those situations.
Right, and that's just devastating for everybody.
Right, so bassinet or crib. What are some things that you should or should not have in that crib or bassinet?
So really the only thing with the baby in the crib or the bassinet should be a firm mattress and a tight-fitting crib sheet. You don't want any stuffed animals, pillows, loose blankets, toys, or sleep positioning devices in the crib or the bassinet with the baby.
Now, what about body temperature for the baby? What if the baby gets cold or hot? How should you kind of bundle up the baby in bed?
Right, that's a good question. So babies really, for the most part, can stay warm in just like a sleeper. You really want to avoid overheating a baby, so just 1 or 2 layers of clothing at the most. If you're worried that the baby's getting cold in just the sleeper, you could put a t-shirt or onesie underneath, or you could use something like a sleep sack or a swaddle blanket that fastens or velcros so that the blanket doesn't work its way up over the baby's nose or mouth.
Okay. And you mentioned, you know, the benefit of bassinet is it can be right in the parent's room.
Right.
I know that that's sometimes why parents, they want to be right next to their baby.
Right.
So, but where should parents be, you know, in relation to their baby at night?
In the same room is really the best way. So whether or not you set the crib up in the parent's room with the baby, or you have a bassinet or something like a pack and play, but the baby should not be in the bed with the parents.
Sure, just as long as you make that separation.
Correct.
So what about people who have nurseries or separate rooms? Is that still okay, or is it just best to have them in the same room?
That is still okay. The studies really show that to promote bonding between the parents and the infant, to make it easier for diaper changes and feedings at night, and to reduce the incidence of sudden infant death syndrome, that having the baby in the room with the parents is the best. But if they have a nursery or something that is close by to the parents' room, they could definitely use that.
Interesting. Well, yeah, that's all really good to keep in mind. I know a lot of new parents are like, okay, what do I do?
Right. There's
always so many questions, but at night, that's really an important and critical time. So thank you so much for being here. Great tips.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, stay with us. We have much